Hey, good evening. Thank you guys for showing up here. I got a big shout out for Will and Wendy and MT. And let me see who's in the lineup. Oh, let's see. Timmy Turner's here too. Thank you guys for supporting our friend Passion for Pets. She's an awesome lady, and I'm sure you all have her. But if you don't, you should check her out. Jules is here. Yes, Jules, we're excited to have you. I'm so happy. I hope you feel better, darling. Anyways, if you don't know, have her. Hello, Michelle. Good evening. If you don't have Passion for Pets, check her out. I'm excited to bring her up here. She has her bird pet, Remy, that's so cute and adorable. She's backstage. I feel like I'm live at a concert, and I can see her smiling, and she's just waiting to come on because she's going to strut her stuff, and she's going to be there. She's kissing her baby right now. I can see it. It's like in the green room. I can see her in the green room with Remy and Wemmy, we love you. Remy, we love you. Yes. Anyways, I'd wait, but hopefully people will come in and see. So without further ado, I am bringing her forward, and the show's up to her. And if you got any questions, please type them. She will answer them. And if she doesn't see it, I'm going to help her out. I'll be in the back. So welcome the lovely, wonderful Passion for Pets with Remy.
Hello. Here's Remy. Say hello. No. Everybody knows that has been to my live streams that he likes to talk over me, but not today, right? Get stage right? All right, well, we can start with Remy now. Remy is a Quaker parrot, or there are other names for them: Quaker parakeet, monk parakeet. But Quaker is one of the more common names that they go by, and they get that name because they shiver. So if a lot of people say, they're shaking, they're cold, or they're scared, that's just what they do. So that's how they got their name. He is almost 11. Yeah. And on the 21st of this month, he will be 11 months old. So he's still a baby. And I've got notes here, so he can live up to, I saw two different things. They can live 15 to 20 years, and then another website said with really good optimal care, 20 to 30 years. So he could be around for a good long time. He's got a lot of time to learn things. He does say some things, but he doesn't say them on cue. Thank you. Thank you. He likes to give me facials. Let me see the chat. Yeah, he is pretty. They do come in different colors too, but green is the most common. There's also blue. Blue tends to be a little bit more expensive. Some things that they're prone to for illnesses and stuff. Plucking is one thing that they're prone to. That's not an illness. It's just when they're stressed out, they tend to pluck. He does have, yeah, thank you. So a little baldness on his chest under his neck because when he's mad at me or, whatever, if he doesn't get out enough or get enough attention, he'll tend to pluck his feathers. Right down in there, yes. Let's see. They're also prone to fatty liver disease, mainly if they have an all seed diet. So he eats mainly pellets. He can. Do you hear that noise? He does get some seeds, mainly for treats, but his main food is a pellet food because we want to make sure that he doesn't get fatty liver disease. He's not next to any windows, like close to any windows to get any drafts, anything like that. Trying to think of anything else he needs. Definitely, they are very destructive if they're bored. So he has a lot of toys he can chew on and destroy. One of the things that I bought him was like a little piñata toy, and he definitely destroyed that. Parrots are jealous. Yes, they are. They can tend to be one-person birds. He tolerates everybody else, but he really only lets me mess with him the most. My son, when he reaches towards him, he'll try and attack him. But sometimes he even does that to me. It depends on his mood. They can be very cage aggressive. You got to kind of get them out of that. He's doing better with me, so I can put my hand in there without him freaking out. But he still tends to get freaked out by things he doesn't recognize. So the other day, I just had tea bags, and I had tea bags dangling over by his cage, and he didn't know what they were. So he was completely freaking out over the fact that there were tea bags near him. You see that? Yeah, see? There he goes. He's gone. But yeah, so we can move on now that he has disappeared on me. So, yeah, now that he's flown the coop, I'll just quickly put him away so that he doesn't take off and I never can find him again. So just give me 1 second and then we can move on. Does anyone have any questions about rabbits? Check for any poop on me. No, he didn't poop. That's good. Any questions about Remy? Knew a guy whose parrot would bite him if his wife tried. Yeah. They can be very jealous. And that's with pretty much any parrot. No questions? This is better than watching someone chase a piglet. All right, we can move on. Next to his cage, let me take this off the tripod now. And unplug myself. Next to his cage, we have our biggest, I got to turn the camera around, our biggest fish tank, which is a 75-gallon. Ooh. We used to have an Oscar in here, but he was since rehomed and then sadly passed away. But we have a Jack Dempsey in here. He's back here. There he is. He is 6 years old. And they tend to have about a 8 to 10 year lifespan. So he's getting up there. Hi, Jack. He's pretty big. He's just hiding right now. So, and we do have a convict cichlid in here, but I guarantee you he's hiding in that head there. That's his favorite place to be. So sometimes there was a time that I would put the camera on there and just record, and it would be like a Sasquatch watch, see if the convict cichlid would come out. There's our pleco. And he's pretty big. So not much going on in this tank at this point. He's just resting back there. Let's see. Looks like the one who ate all my fish in the aquarium when I was a kid. He will try and go after fish that are tiny. Our Oscar also did. If there was a small fish in there that caught his attention, if he could fit it in his mouth, he would eat it. Let's see. We can go to my finch. There he is. Yeah. I don't know if I can zoom in. Can I zoom in? I can't zoom in. I wish I could zoom in. I just don't want you to get away. Ooh. Nope, we're not opening it. It's near impossible to catch a finch. So where'd you go? There you are. So he did have a couple of females with him not that long ago, but something happened with them. I don't know if they were competing for him or what it was, but both females died the same day. It was a couple of weeks ago. They just both died the same day, and I don't understand what happened. So now he's alone again.
Kathleen wants to know, does he get a bath?
Remy?
She is behind, so I'm not sure. She says, does he keep you? No, wait a minute. Does he get a bath? Does he keep you up at night? I'm assuming it's Remy because she has her delay behind.
Okay, yeah. Remy bathes himself for the most part. He'll take a bath in his water dish if he wants. He does not keep us awake at night. Usually at around 8:30 or so in the evening, when it starts to get dark, he starts to really calm down for the day and gets really quiet. And he'll go to his little platform. I can show you. He's got this. He has this platform back here, where right below where he's sitting, and he sleeps on that. Yeah. So usually in the evening he'll be sitting on his platform and he's winding down for the night, and he's quiet till the next morning. So
Wendy wants to know, do you cover the bird cage at night?
no. I used to in the beginning, but I also learned since then that can actually stress them out. So I don't do that. He just kind of goes with the flow with natural light. Once it starts to get darker, he knows it's time to settle in. He doesn't get disruptive, so he doesn't need to be covered up. And he's actually really good.
Kathleen wants to know your pet food bill every month for I think that she said, what's your pet food bill every month for your Manageri? Am I saying it right? Menagere.
Menagerie?
Yeah, for Menagerie. I couldn't say it. Hi, Tim.
Probably monthly, probably $100 or so. The mice and the dog and cat. Yeah, that includes the dog and the cat food. Our mice and our rats actually eat dog food that I get from work for free, so I don't even have to pay to feed them.
She says, do you get a store discount?
Yes, I do get a store discount where I work, which is helpful. So the dog food, the bird food, things like that, they all I can get all their stuff, their food and their accessories. All their food and their accessories are discounted. Food is not discounted as well as accessories, but you know, it definitely helps. And like I said, the rats and the mice, they actually eat dog food. They eat dog food, and how I get it for free is that whenever we have bags of dog food that have their expiration date on it, once it hits the expiration date, we have to remove it from the shelf, and then we can take it home for free because we can't sell it. So that's what they eat. And I don't have to pay to feed them. Here's one of my mice, actually.
Kathleen's way behind. Okay, so I'm going to still read her question.
No, you're fine.
Aren't those aggressive fish? So she's back with the tank of fish. Are they aggressive fish?
Yes. The Jack Dempsey is considered an aggressive fish. The all cichlids are. Pretty much all cichlids are aggressive fish, and in this tank here, these are American cichlids, the Jack Dempsey and Oscar. There's other American cichlids, a flower horn, Texas cichlid, Salvini, convict that's in the head there. They're all American cichlids and they're all considered aggressive. When we had an Oscar in here along with the Jack Dempsey, they fought all the time. I actually have a video somewhere further back on my channel where I actually recorded them fighting. They were having a scuffle and I caught it on video. So, and then I can take you over. Yeah, and actually the pleco, which is considered more, what's the word I'm looking for? Not as aggressive, more docile, yes. Docile fish actually chases the Jack Dempsey around, so I don't know what's wrong with our Jack Dempsey. But here's our other cichlid tank. These are African cichlids.
Okay, we'll ask you, Passion, what are the bird's favorite food seed to eat that is healthy?
Remy's favorite is sunflower seeds. He likes sunflower seeds. He can crack the shell. See, right now the pleco in this tank is chasing this fish here. This is our giraffe fish, the one that I had in the pictures. But that's the pleco, and he was just chasing him. But yeah, lost my train of thought. Yeah, Remy's favorite seed is sunflower seeds, and he actually also really likes almonds. He really likes to eat almonds. So these are different. They all have scientific names that I can't ever remember, but this one back here, the green one with the blue face, that's the giraffe cichlid, or Venestus is the scientific name, but giraffe fish is more of a common name.
Those marble ones are considered peacock.
This one here?
Yeah, and the blind one that's, I don't know where he is.
Yeah, there's a fish. He's usually in here, and he's blind, but I don't know where. I can't see him.
The shiny blue one that's at the front is a Giovanni.
This is a Giovanni. Sorry for this is like algae that will not come off.
This is black and white striped one behind the castle is called a Oritus. They are normally yellow and black until they get older.
My husband is chiming in because he knows these fish better than me. This is a peacock, the one I'm following, the little marble one.
Actually, the females of that Oritus stay yellow when they get older.
So yeah, these are his fish a lot. You know, he takes care of these two big tanks.
And Wendy says, love all the castles in the fish tank.
Yeah, he definitely loves the castles in here, and then the Greek theme in the other one.
Medieval times.
The medieval times, yep.
Ancient Greek are my two favorite times in history.
So these are his tanks. Let's see. Oh, Ian's down here with one of his rats. These are my fish right here. So this is one of the snails. See, compared to my hand, how big they are? Sorry for the reflection. So they're quite large. This one is eating a bean. It's hard to with reflection.
Sorry, I'm not laughing at you. Wendy says, it's beautiful, Passion. You need a mermaid in there. So jump in, Passion. You can be the mermaid in your tanks.
If I could get a mermaid, I would get a mermaid.
That's okay. I was about ready to say that's kind of slavery.
Yeah.
You got half of the marsh still here.
Will says, which tank are you at? Is any of them saltwater? Will says is a saltwater fish. So we're behind a bit, but we're ahead of them. It says
we do not have saltwater fish. Eventually I wouldn't mind trying a small tank of the saltwater fish, but just to kind of dip my toe in that, but I don't know.
The American cichlids are found in lakes and rivers in South America. The Africans are found in 3 different lakes in the middle of Africa, mainly Lake Malawi.
Did you hear that?
Okay, Mike says, are those mystery snails?
No, these are actually giant Florida apple snails. I've had mystery snails before, but I don't have any right now. But these are giant apple snails, and I can show you, like right now, he's eating a green bean. He's already that side of it. That side of it, he's already kind of eaten out the center of it.
Yeah, you wanted to show them that that's a green bean that the snail's eating, which I would have never known.
I just have frozen green beans in the freezer, and I'll thaw like 4 of them and drop them in, and they chow down on those.
That's incredible.
Here is my other one, and I can actually pull him out so you can see. Let go. So he doesn't want to let go of the side of the tank. Let go. Let go. Come on, buddy. There he is. But now he's closed. Now he's closed himself up. So, yep. This is just the trap door of their shell. It's hard. And when they come out, that part that was stuck to the side of the tank is the foot. So now that he's closed himself up and you can't see him.
Yeah. Wendy wants to know, did they clean the tank?
Yes. They're also very messy, though. They produce a lot of waste. He's going to sink all the way to the bottom. All right. But yeah, goldfish are messy fish. And snails are messy as well. They produce a lot of waste. I just cleaned the tank today, and you can already see all this crud on the bottom. Here's this fish here, the marble one with the big eyes. His name is Dorito. The orange one is Cheeto, and the silver one is Frito.
And Will, that's my kitty cats, not Passion's. My cats are loud. She goes, he says, you're a kitty cat. And I'm thinking, that's not her, it's me.
Yeah, not me yet. So yeah, he is actually holding on to that green bean with his foot. And he's actually got most of that green bean gone. It is like one little sliver of it. Still, he's gutted that green bean. But yeah, so the fish are Cheeto, Dorito, and Frito. And I've had I've had these 2 that are on this side, Dorito and Cheeto, the longest. I got them over the summer. And then I think, well, you're over here now. Look at you. There he is. And there are different kinds of goldfish, and you kind of have to pair them together. Ones that have poor eyesight or are awkward for swimming. He would have poor eyesight. Oh, look. And then there's some that are more awkward swimming, and you don't want to put poor-sighted goldfish in with fast goldfish, because then they really don't get a chance at eating because they can't get to the food soon enough. So when you're pairing up goldfish, you got to make sure you're pairing them up.
Wendy says, your tanks are beautiful and clean. If I was Minnie, I would swim in them if they didn't like me.
Now, the cichlids might, but the goldfish are docile, so they wouldn't. But the cichlids definitely, they have teeth. When we had our Oscar, when we had our Oscar and my husband put his hand in the tank to clean it, the Oscar bit him and drew blood. So, yeah. And goldfish, they're, oh my goodness. Looking at my, sorry for my peanut gallery, guys. Goldfish. Goldfish can live 5 to 10 years.
Is that fish having a baby? That's Will says she's going to have a baby. That fish, the goldfish, is that having a baby?
No,
Hey.
they're just round, and it's a slower moving goldfish. They're oddly shaped.
That's lazy.
They're a lot of the goldfish there's going to be faster, like the common goldfish is going to be a faster moving goldfish. They're more sleek. These ones are kind of bulbish and slower and a little slower for swimming. Let's see, the snails, those giant apple snails can live up to 3 years. And then I do have a ram's horn in there. He's really small, so let me see. Oh, he came out of his shell, the one that I picked up. There he is. Looking for the ram's horn. I see him. But there's the snail coming out of his shell that I picked up. They are prone to getting weak shells. Calcium is really important for them. They cannot live without a shell, so if their shell deteriorates, then they will die.
Chef has a question for you. Passion,
Okay.
hopefully you can answer this. Why do these fish have to be separated? And if they do fight, how do they survive out in the wild when there's so many Siamese fighting fish?
Okay, so he's talking about beta fish, which is Siamese fighting fish is also commonly known as a beta fish, which I can take you over here because I have one right here. That's my male beta. These are, excuse me, beta splendens, and they are bred purely domestically. So ones that look like him are not in the wild. The ones that are in the wild are more of a plain color, and they can actually live together. So there are people who are breeding wild betas now in the fish hobby, and they can have them in a tank with more than one for breeding and just for living. They can be together. These guys are just very aggressive. They can be in tanks with other fish, but they shouldn't be with certain ones, obviously of their own kind, or with anything that's got really flowy fins. For breeding, they have to be kind of prepped for that. And even after the breeding process is done, the female has to be immediately removed, because at that point she's already kind of been beat up and needs to kind of replenish her fins. And but yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but yeah, you have to kind of prep the female and you have to prep the male and kind of watch their behavior for breeding. It is a very time-consuming breeding project, unlike other fish, because once the babies are born, then you have to remove the male, and it's completely on you to take care of the babies. The father will take care of the eggs until they hatch and until they're free swimming. After that, it's all you, no parents involved at all. And once the eggs are laid, the mother is not involved at all. I did have a 10-gallon tank, or yeah, it was either a 10-gallon or a 5.5-gallon that I had separated. I put a divider in the middle and I had a male on either side, and the divider slipped and one of mine got to the other side and almost killed my other one. So they definitely cannot be together. But yeah, this is Luca. I'm trying to remember when I got him. It's been a while, but you'd think that they'd get lonely being on their own, but they prefer it that way. And they have very good personalities. They'll follow my finger. If I were to put a mirror in front of him, he'd flare at his own reflection. For breeding betas are not easy. It's not easy. It's time consuming. And once the babies get old enough, you have to separate all of them. So if you have, like, I have somebody that I know who's in the fish hobby, and she bred betas, and like the mother lays a lot of eggs, and not all of them will hatch. Sometimes the father will eat some of the eggs, but she had like 200 of them hatch. And once they get to a certain point, you have to separate them. So she had like little gallon jars, like 1-gallon jars all over her house with all of these babies, because they get to a certain point where they're going to start fighting. And you got to separate them. So it is a very time-consuming hobby, and the babies have to eat live food, and they have to eat a few times a day. So it's very, very time-consuming. So I have not done it. We have had baby convict cichlids. We have never had baby betas. But
Wisdom TV Nigeria just joined in and is trying to say hello. So I just wanted you to know that.
Hey, Wisdom. But we have had convict cichlids had babies in our tank, and the convict actually that we have in our other tank is one of our babies, and he's 4 years old now. I think he's about 4 years old. So, yeah. But, yeah, I'm trying to think of any other informations about this. But, yeah, this is a male. And then I do have females in this one, but they're kind of hiding, and there's one in the corner over here. They hide. Females can be housed together, which is nice, but sometimes it can be tricky. You got to kind of watch them, make sure that I would float them first and watch to see how they would react to each other. And I did purchase a female at one point to put in there with them, and she was acting very aggressively toward them, so I never put her in. But the other ones I never had a problem with, and they pretty much get along. There is one in there that I removed for a couple of months because she decided all of a sudden that she didn't like one of them and was constantly picking on it and fighting and tearing fins and stuff like that. So I took her out, gave her like a timeout, cooling off period for a couple of months, and then when I put her back in, there hasn't been an issue again. So
Wendy says, how many babies do they have at one time?
When it comes to fish in general, or the beta, or yeah, usually a couple hundred eggs are laid. So it depends on what hatches. Sometimes the parents will eat the eggs, but like I said, the beta that my friend was breeding, they laid several eggs, and 200 babies lived and grew up. And I think she's still in the process a year later of trying to sell these babies.
Wow. Misha said, do you have to reduce the chlorine water?
We do put water conditioner in there to remove chlorine. So we do have a stress coat. It purifies the water. But yeah, hello, buddy. Hello. You're ignoring me. Okay. Let's see. Who do you want to see next? You want to see the spider? I'm right in front of him.
Yes, whatever's next. The spider is what I want to see. I've been waiting for this.
All right.
He's creepy and he's kooky, mysterious and looky. Let's see.
You see him?
Oh, yes.
Right here, up here is his mouth.
Let's see. Like where
Right
the opening, the pink opening, right? Where you see the pink?
Yeah. Yes, and sticking out of that pink opening are his teeth.
And you still can't pick them up, right?
I have not picked him up yet. Now, I could take the top off of here and touch him. They rarely bite. He is a pink toe tarantula, and they rarely bite, but they can if they're scared enough. And they can dart, so I don't want to try and pick him up and spook him, because if he jumps out of the tank, might be hard to catch him.
You do what you got to do for safety.
But yeah, this is his front end. This is his back end. He'll spin webs with this back end here.
Well, where's the pink feet or something? I don't see pink. Is there pink on his feet?
It's on the top side of his feet. Let me see if I can. Ian, can you come here for a minute? Can you just hold this like this? Just hold it like that. I am going to move the tank and see if you can see his feet.
Yeah, he will bite. Yes, I can answer that question. Just if he'd bite.
He can bite, but a pink toe tarantula is a docile tarantula, so he's not as likely to bite as others. Can you see his pink tips on his feet?
I don't know if I can see him from here. Maybe, yeah, maybe a little bit.
I'm gonna see if I can take the top off.
This is what Chef says. Sweet Jesus, I hope he doesn't jump out.
Well, I've got a screen top on it, but I'm just going to go like this to see if you can see his feet.
It's still hard to see it, but I don't want you to get hurt by this, so.
I'm trying to.
Don't worry, don't get hurt by it. This is not the Wild Nature Show where Passion rides the bugs.
You see his feet?
Yep, now I see him. Yep, you do to the very
the rest of my house.
Yeah, it's all right.
Let's see. I don't want to spook him, especially if I try and touch him and he runs up rather than down.
Kathleen says, I would rather meet with a seahorse.
So, and when it comes to Ian, I need you again, please. Quickly, because this is hot. I need
Probably
just
hot.
hold up.
Hot and heavy.
Sorry, guys. I'm trying to turn the spider back around. Okay, now put that there.
We appreciate it.
The heat lamp.
We appreciate it, Passion. Thank you.
So yeah, this is a young tarantula. He's not, I don't know how old he is, but he's young. He can get quite a lot bigger. He's considered an arboreal tarantula, which means that they like to nest up high, which is why he's up here. A lot of the times he'll be up here. And he may be down here because he's getting hungry. As he gets hungry, he will come closer to the bottom because that's when he's going to want to hunt for food. And usually what I've been putting in here is small cockroaches. They're just tiny little cockroaches, and he eats those. And they live a long time. He'd eat crickets too, but crickets don't live as long, and I don't want them to die before he eats them. But roaches will live in here forever.
And Wendy says, I would love to have a spider. No, I'm just kidding. She said I wouldn't be able to sleep at night.
He is interesting to watch, though. Very interesting to watch.
I think it's cool. They're going yuck and they're scared and they can't go to bed at night.
So you don't want me to put my hand in there and touch him right now, right? So, and what he drinks is from this gel here. It's just a blue gel. It's actually called cricket water. And crickets will drink that from this. Look at their moisture from that, but it's good for him too because they can't drown. If you put a bowl of water in there, they can drown. So he's got this. I could put something really shallow in here and put water, but that'll also evaporate. So this will sit in here and he can get his moisture from that.
Okay.
And I do miss the eco in here because they do need to have some humidity. Tarantulas are not really prone to any illnesses. They don't really get sick, but he can get sick in the way of if it's not humid enough in there, he can dehydrate and then die. So, but arboreal means that they dwell more in the trees.
Well,
so,
I think they're finding it fascinating, but it's just funny watching all the stuff they're telling you. Oh my, I like the tarantula, but ooh, on the roaches. Johnny said
when he gets bigger, he can even eat mice. When he's like full grown.
Seriously?
Yeah, but I wouldn't be able to do it. No.
Oh my God, that's a big size of mouse. Oh my God.
I'll give him a live cricket and a live roach. I will not give him a live mouse. Nope. But so they do live higher up. I used to have this tank standing on its end, but when I put the roaches in, the last time I put roaches in, one of the roaches, they're small enough that a couple of the roaches came through the top of the screen. So on its side, the roaches were able to get out. So I was like, screw that, you're getting put back on your bottom. So he's gonna have to be arboreal up here instead of up here. But then there are different kinds of tarantulas that live more in the ground and will bury themselves in the substrate, but he's always up top.
Chef says, and I got the answer to that, but I'm letting you answer it. Where do you buy the cockroaches from?
I actually have a coworker who breeds them, and my last batch of cockroaches, I got 6 cockroaches from him. He gave them to me for free, but he actually was approved by the pet store that we work at to sell them at the pet store. So people can go to the pet store and buy them for their animals, and I've done that in the past, but this last time, right before the stay-at-home order, he gave me about 6 of them for free. So he breeds them. He's got a few bins in the house of all these cockroaches. But yeah, so this is, what did I name him in the first place? I forget.
Barry?
I forget what I named my tarantula.
Pinky? Barry?
No, what did I name him? Jeepers.
You need a book like me.
I do. I have so many animals. I'm forgetting what I named.
Yeah, you got to write them down.
Because I don't really come over here and talk to him. He's not really an interacting pet. He's more of a I'll watch you pet. So I forget what I named him.
Sammy? They're going Jim Bob, Sammy, they're naming names. Jim Bob. Sammy. Misha thinks it's Sammy.
Yes, it was Sammy. That's right. Misha.
Yeah, there you go. She kept saying Sam, Sammy, and then she put it in capitals. Sammy!
It was Sammy. That is right. All right, and down below here, our heat lamp is the hermit crab enclosure. And I'm sorry, but no hermit crabs will be shown today because they are buried. But Mrs. Green Thumb wanted me to tell you why. I can't just like dig them up.
Why is there an echo on your side now? It sounds like you're in a fog machine, like an echo.
I don't know.
Sounds different than what you were before.
Maybe because, is it better now?
I feel like you're in outer space and you're talking to me over a microphone. Hello, I'm over here.
I went down like this, which is close to the bubbler here. So maybe that, I don't know.
Okay. Anyways, sorry, carry on. I didn't want to distract you. I just thought it was you.
But down here is where the hermit crabs are. And these shells, there's not really a good light here.
Oh, so they come out of the shell?
These shells are empty. You have to provide them shells that are bigger, slightly bigger than what they're already in, because as they grow, they need to move out of their shell and into something bigger. These 2 shells here were what 2 of my crabs were in when I got them, but they've since moved out. So
okay.
These 2 shells, they vacated these and are in bigger ones now. And the funny thing is, one of them moved out of his shell. It wasn't this shell, it was this shell. He moved out of his shell and into another one, but then he jumped back out of the other one and buried himself with no shell. So that tells me that he's molting. So that is definitely one that I have to be very careful when I rearrange anything in here or whatever, that I don't unbury him, because if I unbury him while he's molting, he will die. So he vacated his shell and then he moved into one of the ones the smaller one right here. He moved into that one, but then he moved out of it, right? Like I watched him leave the shell and then he started digging and burying himself. So I got to leave him alone. For all I know, he could be dead under there, but I can't unbury him to check, because if he's not dead and I unbury him, I'm going to kill him. But usually, if he is dead, I would smell a foul smell, and I don't. So I doubt he's dead. He's under there molting, which can take a while.
They're telling you some funny stuff. They're going, and hello, Bruce. And I have to say this. Wendy wants to know if they grow shells, which I think you already answered that one. No, they don't. You have to give them. And Chef says, oh, wait a minute. Wendy, wait a minute. Sounds like he was a very bad tenant, Chef says.
Yeah, they don't grow their own shells. They have to move into something available. So in the wild, they typically will line up. Like if they live in colonies, and in the wild, they will kind of line up, and the one in front of them is usually slightly bigger than the one, every one in the front of the line is bigger than the next. So when one moves out, the one behind can get into that one, and they kind of do that when they're moving. If sometimes there can be a scuffle over a shell, and if somebody is left without a shell, they need to find something to move into, or they'll die. They have to have a shell. There have been hermit crabs known to move into, or at least trying to move into bottle caps and any litter that they can find on the ground because they need to have a shell.
And you know what? Somebody asked me, I think it was Jules asked, what kind of bedding, like that, the ground that they're hiding themselves into, what is that?
It's eco-earth.
So,
eco-earth?
Eco-earth.
Yeah, I actually have, let me grab it here quick.
There, now you're better. You were like sounding like you're on a speakerphone, but now you sound better.
It might have been because the lower I hold my phone, it was close to the filter for the fish. Could be. I don't know. So this is the eco-earth. I get it. Well, flip the camera around. This is what it is. And you can get it loose in a bag that you have to moisten, or this is just in a compressed brick. And I put it in a bucket and put like a gallon of water in it, and it'll soak up the water, and then you just pick up a handful of it, squeeze the water out so it's damp but not dripping, and that's what they use. And it has to remain damp because they have gills. Hermit crabs have gills, but they're not aquatic, so they can drown, but they need the humidity in the air to breathe. If the air is not humid, then they will suffocate.
Wow. Okay. Kathleen says, feel like I'm on a zoo tour, Passion. You're doing great. Wild Edible says, yeah, zoo tour.
So, oh, you get to see my. All right. So yeah, they can suffocate if they don't have humid air. So the substrate being damp is what helps keep the humidity in. And then I usually have a heat lamp on them that has the heat in there. And then I have to just keep track of the substrate because the heat lamp will dry out the surface of the substrate. And that's okay so long as underneath it's still damp. And I did check it today because their food dishes are over in this back corner. They've got a food dish on the far side, and then they've got fresh water and salt water. The fresh water is for drinking. The salt water is for soaking. And if you've ever seen at pet stores painted shells, like colorful shells, rather than just plain, they're like all bright colors with designs on them. That is actually very bad for them. They don't care what color their shells are. You know, they'll live in anything. They'll live in a tin can if they have to. They're not doing it for flashiness. It's what people are wanting. You know, they're flashy shells. But a painted shell is actually very toxic.
To them, right? Yeah.
Yes, it's toxic to them. If you paint the shell or buy a painted shell, as they're soaking in that salt water, that paint is going to chip off and wear off into the water. And then when they soak in that later, the toxins from the paint in the water, they're soaking in that, and it's going to poison them.
That's good. There was something I was going to say that was funny. Kathleen was saying, how much is the rent for one of those shells? And then Misha said, she's laughing, looking to move, Kathleen?
It's actually actually really, it's easy to find smaller shells. It's actually a lot more difficult to find bigger shells. This one down here, I had such a hard, it's just a plain white shell, but I had such a hard time finding a large shell because my first two hermit crabs were larger in the first place. And so to find a shell that's slightly bigger than what they're already in was actually really hard to do. And when I was looking on Amazon, there's some pretty shells that are just polished. They're not painted. Polished is okay. And it was like $20 for one shell. I'm like, are you insane? I think I paid $5 for that big one.
Well, I guess you can, if anybody wants to send her shells that have no chemicals on it, get a hold of Passion at her email, because she could use the shells. How long is the lifespan for one of them? And Chef has something else. So my question is, how long is the lifespan? Chef said, how should I notice that you don't have rocks on the bottom of your fish tank? It looks like there is no bottom layer. Is that for a reason?
I actually find it easier to maintain the tank. You don't have to, I can do water changes and suck all the waste off the bottom without having to vacuum, like gravel vac. Some fish actually like to have things like gravel so that they can dig or, you know, move things around. They like to re-landscape and things like that. And my fish don't tend to care. So it's easier on me to not have it in there, because then all I have to do is the water change and I use the gravel vac just to suck the waste off the bottom, but I don't have to spend my time going through all the bits of gravel, getting all the waste out. So that's why I do that. But in the bigger tanks, there is gravel in there. And the lifespan of hermit crabs in the wild is like up to 30 years.
Wow.
And unfortunately, and I have the hermit crabs I have because my two biggest ones were surrenders, so they needed a home. They're already not in the wild, but it's near impossible, 99% impossible to breed them in captivity. So for the most part, any hermit crabs you see in the pet store or in anyone else's home is wild caught, which is kind of sad, because they can live up to 30 years in the wild, but in captivity, it drastically cuts it down. A lot of them will end up dying before their first birthday. They'll die in a year because people don't take care of them properly.
Sad. Mr. Doughboy's being funny. He said, do the fish have their own cell phones?
No, they don't. But yeah, I think it is sad. So I'd rather they stay out in captivity. Now, obviously, they're not in their natural habitat around here. They'd have to be in a tropical area. So now that they're here, they need a place. So they're here. But I would discourage. I did get my two smaller ones from the pet store where I work, but I also felt sorry for them because they're not kept properly there. The substrate isn't deep enough. That's, I guess, other things I can talk about. They need to have, the eco earth is very deep in comparison to how big they are. It has to be able to cover them completely, so that they can bury themselves and be completely unseen. I do know that there is, at least my two bigger ones are in this corner, and that's only
Chef, oh, sorry, go ahead. And I want to tell you, Chef has something for you. How?
Okay, I was just gonna say, originally the food and water dishes were on this side, but they were digging underneath it and they spilled their water and all of that. And I moved the dishes today, and I did see a couple of the crabs. One of them started moving because he got partially exposed, so I quickly buried him, covered him up. But I do know that there are two of my bigger ones are right here.
It's just as, how do they breed in the little hermit crabs? I'm kind of curious now. Do they go into the other shell and close the door, or do they come out of their shell and do their business? Wow.
I don't really know, because they don't breed in captivity. So I wouldn't be able to see that. I'd have to like watch a video like National Geographic or something to see how they do that in the wild. I don't know, because there is not anybody that I know of that has bred them successfully in captivity.
Okay, Wild Edible says, I heard when they molt is the only time a male can get it in. I feel like sex education for a hermit crab.
Again, don't know, but they are at their most vulnerable when they're molting, which is why I do not unbury them when they're buried. But I have seen them basically naked, moving out of the shell and into another one, so you get to see their whole body. There are quote unquote shells that you can buy that are just made out of glass. They're glass blown and they're clear. And if a hermit crab were to move into that, you could see their body in there. And a lot of people think that's really cool, but it's actually very stressful for them. So I also discourage those among the painted shells because that's their home. That's where they feel safe. They pull themselves in when they're scared or whatever. And if they pull themselves in and they can still see the world around them, that's going to totally stress them out. So no clear shells, no painted shells.
Wendy goes, oh my God, I'm on the wrong channel. Yeah, so am
I think I am too.
So I think we all are. Okay, this is changing. It's moving to Passion's channel because we're going to the sex part of animals on her channel, not mine.
And then my hamster, Ian disappeared on me, didn't he? I'm going to put you down for 1 second.
Yeah.
So look at my pretty feeling. Woo. Okay. So this way I can try and show you the hairless hamster. He has to remake his bed because I cleaned him out today. But all right, so here he is in the corner. Oh, gotta flip you around. There he is.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, there's Bella. There he is.
Well, look at that. He's kind of cute.
He's like, you woke me up.
Oh, he looks like cute. I could fall in love with him.
Hey, buddy. This is about as close as I can get to him. He sniffs me. I can touch him a little bit. If I tried to pick him up, he'd bite me.
Oh, he bites.
Oh, yeah. Hamsters,
I don't want him.
Hamsters are not cuddly creatures. They're prey animals. They prefer to be kept alone. You can try to bond with them. Like originally when I got him, I couldn't even put my hand in here. He would act really defensive, but now he's getting used to me. So
you're taking your time and you're letting him come to you.
Yes, you have to. A lot of people, like we had somebody buy a hamster and then the next day brought it back and said it's too aggressive. And I was like, oh, good Lord, you have to give it a chance to get to know you and get used to its new surroundings. It's scared.
Yeah. Like anything. Even a cat's like that.
Yeah. If you swoop in and go to grab it, yes, it's going to act aggressive, but it's not acting out of meanness. It's acting out of defense.
Yeah. So it's not aggressive. That I use that word defensive, not aggressive. Crystal Pet Plants, hello. And I can't.
Crystal.
I think Chef says he needs a fur coat or a little coat. Quick,
he does.
Get a little baby coat for him. He's cute.
He is in a bin cage because he won't get any drafts. If he was in a barred cage, he could get drafts really easy and get chilled and all of that. But he is in a bin cage, so he doesn't make a mess outside the cage because it won't come out, but he won't get any drafts either.
I don't know, Miss. I think I found Passion. I think I found a new love. Right there. He's adorable. Oh my God.
He is really cute. I mean, you have to be a little bit more careful with them, so that they don't get too cold, which is why he's in the cage that he's in. Nothing with really sharp edges. I mean, he's got things like this to chew on, but nothing that's going to, because he can injure himself really easy because his skin is exposed. At the pet store in the tank that they had him in, they gave him a plastic food dish, and other hamsters in the past had chewed on it. So the edges of the bowl were really rough and he kept skinning his nose. So while he was at the store, he kept having boo-boos on his nose. So in here, he's got just a ceramic food dish, so it's not going to get rough.
Oh, poor bump. And how can't you have more than one, or you're afraid if you have more than one, it'll have a baby?
They are solitary. They need to be kept alone or they will fight. So,
sad.
So he's a Syrian hamster. Syrian hamsters, for the most part, are loners. There usually is going to be a breeding, a way to breed them, but I don't really have any interest in breeding. But baby hamsters are super, super, super cute. When they're young, they can be together until a certain point. At work, we have like way too many hamsters at one time, so a lot of the time they are together even when they shouldn't be, and we've had to pull some for injuries because they will fight.
Chef says he's a beta hamster.
Yeah.
And
Hamsters,
why don't he have any fur?
loners.
Why doesn't he have any fur? When he asked you,
he is actually a hairless. He was bred to have no hair, so he is a hairless Syrian. He does have a shorter lifespan than regular hamsters. Regular hamsters will live about 2 to 3 years. He'll probably be half that.
Oh, he can live half that?
Yeah, he won't live as long.
Poor baby only gets a year's life. Oh,
A year or two. So 2 to 3 years for a different hamster, sometimes 4, and he'll be maybe a year to 2 years, maybe 3 if he's lucky. Yeah, they don't live as long, which is sad because they're more rare, so they're more expensive. I paid $30 for him.
Well, I almost would pay 30 because he's so cute, and I like his ears. Yeah. Like his little ear. That's what makes him not a mouse. Like he's similar to a mouse, but I'm not freaked out because he's not a mouse.
Yeah, and it's really funny to watch him clean himself because he, unlike other hamsters that are cleaning their hair, he has to like pull on his skin to get all into all his little skin wrinkles to clean himself. Where are you going? Hello. He's like, what is that big phone looking at me? Hi. And when he pouches his food, when he wants to eat, he'll pouch it. He's already brought some food to that corner he was in, but when he pouches his food, the first time I saw him do it, he might do it now. You gonna pouch food for us? I thought he had a tumor, and I was like, I just paid $30 for you, and now you're gonna die. But he just pouched his food, and it just looks really ridiculous.
How cute he is, even his little feet. What is he? It looks like he's got a little spot on the back.
He has 2 little like freckles or moles on, like one on either side of his body.
I don't know why. I'm just like in love with this little thing. Isn't he cute? Look at him. What is it? It's a hairless hamster. Oh. Can I have one? What he's going to say? Can I have a hamster?
What are you doing, buddy?
He's ignoring me.
Yeah, the other hamsters are typically about $10 to $20, I guess, depending. A Syrian hamster to me is a Syrian hamster, but they'll give them fancy names so that they can charge more. And he's a Syrian hamster too, but he's hairless, so he's more expensive.
Oh, that's okay, Pandora. Everybody's welcome. It's all good. And Crystal says, I have a male teddy bear hamster.
Yeah, which is also a Syrian. They'll give them the teddy bear name so that they can charge more. At our store that we have teddy bear, we have panda, we have calico, we have golden, but they're all Syrians. They're just a different color coat.
Oh, the name is based on the color of the coat?
Yeah, they're selling them, giving them fancy names based on the color of their coat to charge more.
Listen to that. She's just telling you something really cool. Never mind the name. The name is making you pay more. That's interesting.
Yeah, because basically it is just a Syrian hamster. There are dwarf hamsters. There are Roborovsky hamsters, which are more of the tiny hamsters. The Syrian hamsters are bigger, but they're just basically different colors.
Oh my gosh. I don't know why. I want to just, he's going to bite me, but I still want to hug him.
He's never bit me, but I'm not rushing him. I've had him since right after Christmas. I'm just not rushing him. I'll put my hand and see I'm touching him and he's not reacting badly. in the beginning, he would have spun around to try and grab me. But he's not reacting badly. I'm just giving him, I want him to be comfortable with me. I don't want him to see my hands as a threat. So it just takes a lot of time to eventually we'll get to the point where I can pick him up. But
sorry, I want to jump in. I shouldn't mean to cut you off. You're on a roll. But Jeff says, are the hamster tails small that way, or do they crop them like Dobermans?
No, they are born like that.
I was going to say that would be terrible if they cut their tails. I mean, I realize they stopped doing that for dogs now. They're not supposed to do it for dogs either.
Yeah, I think some places I believe still do, because I was at the vet clinic with, I think I was there to pick up flea meds for one of the dogs, and there was a person there with newborn puppies, and they were there to have their tails docked.
Yeah, because people are used to it. But really, if I wanted a dog, I would want the dog and not because of the thing.
Yeah. Do you want your food? Do you want that?
Crystal Pets and Plants said she paid $10 for her on Craigslist. She got one.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's the best way to do it, is to rescue them, because the hamsters are very misunderstood. When it comes to small animals, a lot of them are misunderstood. A typical person would have bought him and put him into a tiny little cage, because that's what's marketed at the pet store. Yeah, but it's too small. They may be small animals, but they love exercise. They love space. He uses every bit of this bin, and it is pretty much almost the equivalent to a 40-gallon breeder tank.
Yeah, it's pretty big. You can tell he's living the dream there at your house, so that's good.
Yeah, so he's got a lot of space, but all of the hamster cages at the store are going to be too small.
Some tails hurt when whipped by them, but I'd rather the dog have its tail. You got it.
Yeah,
you got it.
Yep.
I think we're all in that same boat. That's stuff that I don't agree with at all.
All right, so I'm gonna put the lid back on him, and he has a lid to keep him safe from the cats, but I do have holes in the top so that he gets air.
So you went down again. That's how the sound is.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Or maybe my hand near the speaker or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. So over here, you can see the bunnies. My son was down here with one of the rats, but I wanted to do this kind of in a roundabout way. Step right into the pen here. All right, let's see. I'm going to have to empty this litter box, but this here is Hera. Hi.
Are these regular ones or mini ones?
She's fairly big. I don't know what she is. I got her from the animal shelter, but she's a good size. She's in her tunnel now. Are you in there? Hello.
But you can let her out, because I know my daughter has a dwarf bunny, and that thing's spoiled rotten. It goes all over the house.
I can take her. I usually take her upstairs and let her. If I let her run around, I'll let her run around in the hallway upstairs, because I can block off the stairs and she can't get anywhere where I can't get her back. The other last week she did escape from the pen, and I found her hopping around in the other half of the room. She's got some chew toys here. This is just a baby rattle from Walmart. She loves playing with that. And I do have, she has the water bowl I gotta fill that, rather than a bottle. They do drink a lot of water, so it just is better. It's better for them to have a bowl than a bottle. Because they can't get as much water at a time out of a bottle. Here's the other one. She is a baby. She's 4 months old. Want to see you? This is Thea. I gotta clean her cage out. But they're separated because Hera does not like her.
Oh. That girlfriend, can't you get along with your bunny friend? Jeez.
No, she does not. There's a bonding process, and when I did it with my previous rabbit and Hera, it was a breeze. There was no issues. I had them bonded in an afternoon, no fighting, nothing. No matter how much I try with these two, Hera does not want her.
Oh, poor baby.
So she is, I was going to return her to my friend, but they have other bunnies that they're trying to rehome and they can't. So they're actually talking about taking them to the animal shelter because they can't rehome them. And I don't want her to have to go to the animal shelter too. So like, we're just going to make it work. She's really sweet. If I had Ian down here to hold the phone, I could pick her up. Hera doesn't really like to be picked up, but this one is young enough that she's not turned off by it yet.
Yeah, because they don't like being picked up. I know that much. They
Yeah,
they don't like it.
as a prey animal,
They're kicking you. Yeah, they're kicking you.
Yeah, a lot of people will say to me when I'm at work, they'll say to me, "My rabbit loves to be cuddled," and I'm like, "No, they don't. If you look at how they're breathing, if you look at their eyes, you can tell they're stressed out. They're tolerating it and they're not struggling, but they're not enjoying themselves."
No. Yep, I knew that through my daughter. I watched the bunny, and I let her come. If she wants to come to me, she'll come to me, and if she don't, I don't bug her. And
I don't pick them up unless I have to. I have to pick them up to brush them if I have to brush them, like they're shedding. Or to cut their toenails or whatever. But other than that, I'll just let them come to me. They love attention. They love being petted, but they don't like being restrained.
Yep, I hear you.
So she's enjoying this, but they prefer not to be. And Hera, I have to let her know that I just want to pet her, because if I put my hand toward her, she thinks I'm going to pick her up. That's why she runs. But once I kind of can get my hand on her and start doing this, then she realizes, oh, you're just petting me. Okay. Yeah. All right. And this is actually what my guinea pig used to be in this cage. This is technically too small, but she's also a smaller bunny. So right now it's okay. Plus I can let her out for floor time to run around. But technically, this is marketed as a rabbit cage, and this would be far too small for a bigger rabbit. So again, pet store cages, way too small. What Hera is in is actually an exercise pen for a dog. So this pen here, that's what she's in.
Yeah, that's pretty good size.
Yeah, and it's just connected to the cage now so that they can kind of be together without being together. So, yeah, because all those cages marketed to guinea pigs, cages marketed to rabbits, hamsters, they're all too small. Let's see. I'm gonna go up. I didn't show you my male rats yet, but going up to my son's room where we've got all of our females, which is the majority of the rats we have. Are you decent?
What?
Are you decent? Okay. We want to start seeing some girls. All right. Here we go. Here's the cage.
Oh my goodness.
This is Roxy right here. He's going to start taking some rats out. So you can see them. But this is Roxy. She was a surrender. And she came home with us. This one is Latte. This is Latte. This is Maddie. This one is Riley. This cage needs to be cleaned. But this is Riley. This is my son's rat. This was like out of his rats. This was the second one that he got. She's really, really sweet. Let's see. Can I borrow you, Ian, please? We got Sputnik.
Oh, look at this one.
Sputnik is hanging up here, and they'll stuff their little bodies in here. She is not the only one in there. This is Lainey that's sticking her head out. These ones are like, well, pay attention to me, pay attention to me. Hi, Lainey. Most of these rats we got when they were super tiny, but they have grown. Riley, who is down here, is a year old now. She just had a birthday. Yes. This is Clemency. She's our only Dumbo rat. She was also a surrender, and she was surrendered with Roxy. And Clemency had her tail degloved, which basically means that someone picked her up by her tail rather than her body. And it's a defense mechanism for rats in the wild where their skin, if a predator were to grab them by the tail, their skin basically rips off their tail. And then they can get away. It is nasty. So they were surrendered to the pet store, and one of the people that works there was unfamiliar with, she didn't know that it was dangerous to pick them up that way. And she wasn't sure if they were friendly. So she picked her up by her tail, and about that much of her tail, the skin came off.
Poor thing.
So her bone in her tail was exposed. She was bleeding everywhere. Hi, guys. I wasn't at work at the time, but one of my coworkers called me, and I rushed over there with my son. We kind of did like a really redneck wrap of her tail. She was so well behaved, even though she was clearly in pain. And then we were told, because normally when our animals are surrendered to us, they'll just be resold. But because she was injured with the tail issue now, they can't sell her. So they just, since they were housed there were 3 of them. There's another one. I think she's down in the bottom, but there were 3 of them together. And they said, if you'll take them, you can have them for free, because we couldn't sell her. So we took all 3 of them, and the next day Clemency went to the vet, and she had that part of her tail was amputated.
Poor thing. But look, you can see they all love each other. That would be so sad to separate them, eh?
Yeah. So they do. They sleep together. Most of these rats were not together originally. They were introduced over time.
Wow.
And they sleep together. This is Mocha.
They all like it. They're pretty good. They don't hurt each other.
No, well, they act like they do. At night is when they play the most. And my son sleeps in this room, so at night he can hear them going and rustling around, because they will loudly squeak when they're play fighting, because it sounds like they're killing each other, but they're not. They just like to play rough. They'll tackle each other out of thin air.
Well, cats do that too. If you think about it, cats can do that too. You saw it. My cats fight with each other, and then I took a picture. They're all on the couch together. So
yep. Hi. Who wants to come out, because my son is not cooperating? All right. Who wants to come out? Everybody wants to come out. This is Roxy. Oh, hi, Clem. Roxy. She was one of the surrenders. And Clemency. And then most of these were also feeder rats. They were in the feeder bin at work. They were going to be snake food. So everybody, Lainey, Mocha, Maddie, you're playing with my bracelet. They were all basically going to be snake food.
So what about baby one you took? You saved the baby one. Is that in there? The little baby one?
The baby one that was naked?
No, there's a baby one a while back you saved because you didn't want it to get fed, so you brought it home. It was a really
I saved her. She had hardly any hair. She was about the size of an adult mouse. Here we go. I got Roxy. Say hello. She is still in here. She is doing very well. She's grown. There she is.
Oh, I don't know why I'm saying oh. Rats were not my thing, but Passion makes them look so cute.
This is Keiko. She was the size of an adult mouse when I got her. She was super skinny. She was practically bald. She didn't have all her hair. And I told my son, I'm taking her home. And he was like, she's going to die. She's just going to end up dying. We're going to be all upset because she's going to die. And look at her. She's huge. She's got all her hair. She's healthy. She's great. She's very skittish, but she's healthy. So everybody's clamoring. It looks like they don't have any food, but we feed them and then they'll take it and store it somewhere. So their food dishes may be empty, but it doesn't mean they're starving. Hey, she wants to climb on the cage.
Yeah,
Come here.
They look pretty healthy to me.
They love attention. Where's my... Most of these rats are mine. Four of them, or three of them are my sons.
I see that, Susan. Remember, I don't want a rat, I'll be honest, because I don't know if I could handle that. But I've grown to like them a little more than I did through Passion. That's the truth. Passion made that little baby rat look so cute that I was going, oh, look at how cute it is. And a while back, I would went, oh, shut the cage. Oh my God, they're creepy. But I'm not doing that. I'm watching them and thinking, they're really
there
cute.
She is. Hi.
I don't want them, but they're cute. And I think
All
you
right,
should.
this is Lexi. The one with the black on one side.
Look at them. They're not one biting her. She has a whole bunch there, and they're all like so friendly with them.
Yeah, that's kissing. She's kissing me.
That's what I'm saying. Like it just, you picture like, and I guess there, like you said, there's a difference between the wild rats and the caged ones, but like these are so friendly to you. They're like, if they bit me, then it would be goodbye. I'm not keeping that. But
and at most, they will put their teeth on my finger because they're just testing to see if I have food. She's kissing my finger right now, but they'll just lightly put their teeth on me because they're testing, but they're not biting. Yeah, I'm totally getting kisses.
They're all. She can have all 10 of them on her. She can be the rat lady, right? Because they'd probably all come on you.
They would. But kisses. I'm getting kisses.
Because you already have 2 already, don't you?
One of them was on me and then she went back in. Now I've got the one that's had the amputated tail. There's her tail.
Oh, you had one. Okay. Susan says she's right in the, she had one when they were young. That's really cute. Well, it's good. The reason I love having Passion here, I want to do it again, is to educate people. Look at how many animals she has. And it just amazes me. They're all living in harmony. People can't live in harmony, but yet you can put 10 rats in a cage. And oh, my favorite one was when she had the cat, the little baby rat and the cat. And the cat wanted nothing to do with the rat. That was
Hopefully I can actually take, where's Lexi? Lexi, come here. We're going to take you for a minute because one of the cats is in my bedroom. And go back in. Go back in. Everybody go back in.
Crystal says, well, they all look really happy. I can see that for sure. So she thinks they're quite content because she's the Crystal's pets and plants. So she has both.
This is Lexi. She was my first rat, and I got her when she was super tiny. So she is great. I've taken her outside for walks. We have leashes for them. So here, I'll show you. These are leashes. They're like harnesses. And I've taken her out on the harness and walked her. She doesn't walk well, but just saying. So we're going to go in here. And we have a cat.
So basically, you could be hired out to be a rat walker.
Hi. Hey, stop moving. Stop moving around. Look.
Look at this. Look at that. Look at that.
Look at her. She's like, get that thing away from me. She's just going to play with the tail.
Yeah, that one looked like it. Yep.
Hey, look. Look at her. Say hi. Oh, I'm getting kisses. Yeah, she has no interest in her whatsoever. So, yeah, she is a really sweet rat. Yes. Sweet baby. All right.
Kathleen says she had a lot of rats. I had a Gus, a Pickle, a Poot. They were awesome. she liked rats.
Oh, kitty. All right. Why don't you go back in the room, please? Go back. Sorry, that was a real close-up of me. But yeah, so out of all, I'm trying to think of all the names. Got Lexi, Lena, Lucy, Lainey, Moo, Mocha Latte, Roxy, Takeo, Honor, Riley, hello, Riley, Segura. We had a Soraya. We rehomed her. That was my son's rat. And then Clemency. And then my two boys that are downstairs, Drake and Kato, that I can't have together. I got Kato, and then I felt bad that he was alone because they're social. So I got Drake and put them together, and Kato beat them up. So they're separated. So I just spend a lot of time with them. And rats only live 2 to 3 years on average. They can live to 4 or 5, but 2 to 3 years is average. So it's kind of sad that they're such great animals and they have such a short lifespan. Go in. Everybody in. Put your tail in. Oh, sorry. Trying to, oops. Hey, everybody. And they actually feel empathy. I would consider them to be good therapy animals. There is a person, I can't remember her name, that she's training rats to be therapy animals.
That would actually be cool. That would be you know why? Because there's so many rats, and maybe there's so many homeless rats, almost worse than cats, that if they could get, like, if you could get me to like a rat, which was so creepy against them, that would be a good thing.
Yeah, and they do feel empathy. Like when I was upset, like I was having one of my down days with my depression, Kato was sitting with me and he was all snuggled into my neck. Aww. And when I kind of moved my face away, he could tell that I was sad, and he like came closer to my neck and just like snuggled with me. And how can you be sad when there's an animal there wanting to snuggle with you?
Exactly. Yep. I was thinking, it's like you as a parent, you have kids. The kids grow up, and then you have grandkids as you, and then the grandkids become teenagers, don't visit you anymore. Who do you have in the end? Your pets. The ones that stay with you, and they want you. They want your love. Sometimes we don't like that.
She's like, I want food in this dish.
Oh, that's hilarious. Lenny says, you do an amazing job looking after every one of your animals' passion. Credit to you, lovely.
Oh, thank you. I want to show you my boys downstairs too, but that's mostly, I think I showed you pretty much everybody. Most of the animals are the rats. Out of all my animals I have, what makes the number so high is my rats.
No, you didn't show the male rat and the mouse, right? That's what you, the mice?
Right. I don't know if we're going to see the mouse because he's kind of, I'll show you where he's sleeping and how the reason why I can't get to him. And I can show you the dogs too, obviously. You saw a cat. But this cage, I need to clean it, but it's like an arcade cage. So he's got this cage part down here, his food's down here, his water's here. And then this has a wheel up here, and this is all closed in. He took all his bedding. Oh, there he is. He took all his bedding and brought it up here. And this is all gross because he brought all this bedding and all this litter up here. He did that himself because this was clean. And all the litter that's down here, he brought up. He's in the tube right now. He was sleeping, and usually he's sleeping in that mound of yarn.
Oh, there he is. We can see him.
Yeah. Come on out. This is Stanley. Come on out. There he is. Hi, buddy. And again, the lifespan is going to be about the same, 2 to 3 years. Oh, there he goes. About 2 to 3 years for a mouse as well. And they're going to be a lot like a hamster where, you know, you're going to want to get them used to your hands before you go all swooping in and grabbing at them and stuff like that. In here is Drake. Come here, Drakey. Come here. Let go of the towel. This is Drake. He's one of my males. My male rat. Come here. Get out of my hair. There he is. He's a good boy. I actually got him this size. He was in the feeder bin at work, in the large feeder bin, so he would have been food for a large snake. But he's just such a sweetheart, so he came home. Hi. Huh. Such a good boy. Oh, I'm having troubles. What are you smelling? All right. Put you back. And then Kato, who is the one that's beating him up. Kato is right here. Hi, Kato. Oh, the finch is talking. Hey, buddy. Hi. This was the one that snuggled with me. They both snuggle with me. They're very affectionate. Males actually tend to be more affectionate than females, but our females are actually pretty good.
Yes, I agree. Males are more affectionate. Ask Mike. He hasn't said a word. I don't know if he's snuggling or he just left. Mike's been very quiet the whole time. I didn't see him talking at all.
But besides the dogs and the cats, I mean, you saw Sage. That was Sage up there where I brought Lexi in to see her. Bella, come here. Because now basically it's just the dogs and the cats. Bella! You could, oh, hang on a minute. I'm going to put the hamster back up here.
Well, if you have any questions for her, please type them down, eh? You got any questions for Passion before she gets off? She did an amazing job. I'm not trying to rush her off, but I'm sure she's tired as over an hour and a half. It's totally up to her. If you got any questions out there, please shoot them for Passion, please.
And I wish I could have got my hands on a hedgehog for you, but with all this mess going on, I couldn't get a hold of one.
I will. Well, then that's our date. You will be back on here showing your animals and how they got bigger with the hedgehog, because that's my big deal. So,
you can let Brinley out now because I put the hamster up.
They're all good. They said good tour.
Thank you. Oh, are we talking snakes, a copperhead?
Well, I'm ready for something. Oh, wait a minute. I got off of full screen and can see the chat now. Aha. Oh, that's you want to watch the chat. Okay, so guess what? We're going to wait till she comes back. We are ready to sing happy birthday to her because we owe her that. I know you can't sing, but you can at least, what can we put? Put some kind of symbol that you're singing happy birthday to her. So you ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Passion, known as Lisa. Happy birthday to you and many more. Yes, come on, guys, sing it to her. It's behind, but anyways, let's put something. There we go. That's it.
And this is Bella. This is my Shih Tzu. She is my baby. she will actually have her birthday on the 21st of this month. She'll be 5.
5. Oh my
5.
goodness. Oh
My
my
5-year-old baby.
Pretty girl. Yeah, Lacey's about 5, so she's about the same age. Near Christmas, Lacey will be 5, I think.
Huh.
Yep, same age. There, they're going, happy birthday to her. Yes.
Yeah, so that was, I think, pretty much everybody. I mean, you didn't see every single rat because they were either hiding somewhere, or my son wasn't as cooperative as I hoped. He was in the middle of a live video game when I went up there.
That's all right. You did an awesome job. That's my clapping. Let me find my little clapping button too. But I did that's my hand clapping. And come on, ladies and gentlemen. She did a wonderful job of this. Actually, I was so listening to you the whole time. Time went by very fast, Passion. So I'm trying to find my little clapping button. Clapper.
And I don't know if I went through like everybody's like what illnesses they're prone to and their lifespans. Let's see if anybody wants to know any specific ones. So he's my Pac-Man frog. Missed him.
Wash hands, wash hands, wash hands, and wash hands. That's what Susan's saying. Yep. So what should we do again?
Wash your hands. Do you guys want to see my Pac-Man frog real quick?
Yes. Yes. Let's see your froggy. I want to see her froggy poo.
Right out of the face. You can keep
ribbit.
He's gonna be a dirty mess because he's in Eco Earth. But here he is.
Oh my goodness, I love it. He's a fatty.
He is fat.
Oh my, but I love him. Oh my God.
Holding him is, you got to hold him this way. If you do not want to put your hands in front of his fingers in front of your face, he will mistake you for food and he will bite, and he has teeth.
Oh, so, he bite.
Yes.
Oh.
They are very aggressive eaters. They are lay-in-wait predators, so he doesn't move around very much. He will sit and wait for the food to come close to him, and then he will lunge at it.
So when you pick him up, you got to pick him from behind then? So
I picked him up from the sides. I picked him up from his sides. I'm keeping my fingers away from his mouth.
Wow. Look at that. You'd never guess it. He would bite. A frog would bite. Seriously.
And he does have teeth. Yeah.
Wow. He's a good looking dude.
This is an albino. And what was I going to say? They can live about, what did I write down? 15 years.
Wow.
And he's still young. He can get bigger. He's still young.
Okay. So when you invest in a pet like a frog, you only think they're around for a little while. You got to remember they're 15 years, so you better have the time.
Yep, and he will eat earthworms, crickets, roaches. He actually is big enough to eat pinky mice, which I have frozen pinky mice. I will not feed live, but live is what he's eaten in the past before I had him.
Uh-huh.
And this is a male. He actually does chirp. He makes some quiet noises in the tank.
That's me. Mike goes, can you open your mouth to show his teeth? And I'm thinking, no, because you get no finger.
I don't want to get bit. But yeah.
Laughing when he said that. I love it, though. I like the froggy poo.
Yeah, but this is Freddie.
And you can really see, like, because he's bedded full of dirt or whatever that you said it was. So you can't really see his eyes too good because it's like he don't care. Yeah. He's like the super stud of frogs.
They spend a lot of their time buried in the substrate, and he needs humidity, and because they don't necessarily need to have a water dish. He does not have one in there. You can put one in so that if the substrate gets a little too dry, if he's thirsty or whatever, he can soak. But they get their fluids through their skin. So that's why they need the humidity and the damp substrate. They don't actually drink water. They'll absorb it. his chubby sides.
I love him. I think I fell in love with the hairless hamster and that frog right there. He's so cute. Oh my God.
So they're very interesting
We can't wait till you get some more unique things. Your husband doesn't know. We got to get Passion to get some more stuff. I said if I had a lot of money, I'd be investing in her that she could take care of all the animals that need homes. And she would probably find some unusual stuff there. I was watching a tiger show that I was very upset with. And I wish we're all banned where they take tigers in and it's all about the money about the tiger and they're really not taking care of the tigers and they're all competing against each other. It was terrible. I watched, it was so many mini series and it was all these people that own zoos that have tigers. It was terrible. They were all competing against each other, knocking each other. And it was like, and the poor animals were the ones that were suffering. Like they were animals as far as I'm concerned. No one should have a wild tiger or any of that stuff.
Yeah. Linda Green asked, is this much different from a buffa frog? Are you talking bullfrog or I don't know what you mean by buffa. And yeah, depending on the size of the frog, if they're really small, yeah, they'll eat like insects, crickets and things like that. But the bigger they get, I actually saw a bullfrog out by a pond when we were out on a walk, and he was eating a small bird.
Wow!
So they will eat the tiny little animals if they can fit them in their mouths. Pac-Man frogs will eat what they can fit in their mouths.
Wow! That's the Pac-Man frog, that big one, right?
Yeah, that's a Pac-Man frog. And not all frogs. Well, a lot of people will say, you can tell the difference between a frog and a toad because toads are land and frogs are aquatic. But not all frogs are aquatic. He's not aquatic. He'll drown.
Right, which people don't get. They don't even understand what a toad is. By the way, I have a pet toad. I did a video, but it's still there. It came out, and it's in my backyard. And it has family, and it lives in my backyard. And I call it garden toad.
He's definitely not a swimmer. Like I said, he's a lay-in-wait predator. He's got a 10-gallon tank. He's one creature that does not need a large enclosure. All these other small animals need bigger enclosures than people think. He doesn't, because he doesn't use the entire space. For 2 days, he sat in the same place. He hasn't moved. Occasionally he'll move to another place, but that's because he'll have eaten or whatever and he'll poop. And he doesn't want to sit in the little mound of the little divot that he's made to bury himself. He doesn't want to sit there where he's pooped. So that's when he'll move. So you really only have to spot clean where he's moved from. You don't want to clean out you can wait 6 months before you clean out their entire enclosure because he only eats once a week, sometimes every 2 weeks, and he'll poop and then he'll move to a new spot and he'll bury himself and he'll just sit there. They're lazy. Oh, so like a bullfrog. I don't necessarily, because there are frogs that actually can live together in groups, and Pac-Man frogs are solitary. If I put another Pac-Man frog in there, they will kill each other. So Pac-Man frogs are another one of those that they have to be alone. So breeding is kind of tricky too. I'm not real up on how to do that, but you can't put more than one together in living quarters. They will try and eat each other. Oh, shoot, poison. See, they don't have any poison. Pac-Man frogs don't have any toxins. They just have teeth. No poison. Let's see. Anything else? I don't think I have much of any. Yeah, Pac-Man frogs can live 15 years. Did I say how long a tarantula can live?
You are welcome. Wendy says she has to go. It's late in the UK. It's 1 a.m.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for coming, Wendy. Pigtoe tarantulas, I don't know if I said, but can live 10 years. But that's usually for females. Males will have a shorter lifespan, but nowhere where I can do research does it say how long. It just says shorter than a female. So I don't know how much shorter than a female. Komodo dragon. I don't know if we have any of those at the pet store. I want a bearded dragon.
They bite too. I've been bit. Some of those dragons freaking bite. I've been bit by.
They can. I do have an ex-coworker that's got a bearded dragon. Actually, they got a few bearded dragons, and the mother of the ones that they have, she is a little bit aggressive, but there's something that you're going to have to bond with too. They will bond with their owner. You just have to give them time to get used to it.
Do you know that I was bit by a pelican one time in a zoo?
Oh, geez.
I just had to throw that one out. Yeah, because the kids were teasing it. So I said, would you leave that alone, that poor little bird? So I go up near the bird, and it took a chunk out of me. I was protecting the darn bird, and the bird bit me for looking out for it. I'm going to say that was annoying.
They don't understand that you're taking care of them. I was really impressed when that one rat that was her tail was injured. She was in pain. When I was bandaging her tail, she would squeak because it hurt when I was like wrapping it up, and I felt so bad for her, but she was not reacting aggressively in reaction to being in pain when a lot of animals will.
You know what? I think though, Passion, we're using that word aggressively too easy. I don't think animals are aggressive. They're actually protective. They're like defensive. That's what they're doing. There's where offensive, like aggressive, mean they're going after you purposely. No, you go after them, and then they kind of protect their area themselves.
Right.
So they're just protecting and being defensive.
Yeah.
You know,
so a lot of the time it's they're scared. They're going to bite when they're scared. They're going to bite, and it's a defensive move. It's not an aggressive. They're not like, oh, I see this person, let me lunge and get you.
Right.
You know, if they feel threatened, kind of like when you hear when you're growing up, if you don't bother the bee won't bother you.
That's true.
And I was like, well, tell me what bothers a bee, and then I'll be good. Because I was growing up thinking, you know, I'd be walking along minding my own business and I'd get stung by a bee. But little did I know there was a bee down in the grass there that I didn't see. And I walked over it, and I startled it. I scared it. I didn't know it was there, but that's why I got stung. Here I am thinking I minded my own business, but I bothered the bee. I just didn't know I did.
Yeah, well, you know, when that's the same. You're even not a good example. It's when a bee flies near you, you just ignore it. Most people take their hand and swat it away. Well, they're gonna
at that point, it's getting aggressive, but it's being defensive.
Yeah. Chinchilla. Well, that's cool.
Chinchillas are cool too. They are very tricky animals to take care of. You say another, so you've had one. They actually we have chinchillas at work, and I've held them, but I had to be taught how to hold them. You can't just pick them up like you would any other small animal. They're cute and fluffy. They're super, super soft, but you can't just reach in and scoop them up. They have what's called floating ribs. And if you pick them up that way, you will break your ribs.
Wow, that's interesting to know.
Yeah, so what you have to do is kind of when you can get them from not running around, and they can jump, but you basically have to get them by the base of their tail. And usually you want to avoid picking animals up by their tail, but you actually have to pick them up by the base of their tail and hold them that way. And then you can put your hand underneath their body to support them when you've got a grip on the base of their tail. But you can't put your hands around their body because you can kill them that way by breaking their ribs.
Bruce says, I have a question about rabbits. What's the question?
Oh, if a bee flew in my car, Chef, I almost had a car accident once because a bee flew in I don't like driving with my window down because one bee got sucked in once, and I was like, ah! Sucked into my window. Yes, they can. You just got to make sure that the yard is not treated with pesticides. You got to make sure that there's no pesticides or any chemicals in the yard, because that can hurt the rabbit, make them sick. If it's untreated, we don't treat our yard, so I can go out and pick clover. I can pick dandelions. My rabbits like eating dandelions. I have given them clover. You just want to limit how much clover you give them, because they can get gassy. It can cause gas, and then if they eat too much of it, they'll have abdominal discomfort. So they can eat it. You just gotta do it as a treat. Yes, being stung by a bee does hurt.
When I was little, I think I told you there was this tree stump, and I was like a little kid, not even in kindergarten, and I didn't know there was a beehive there. I was like, there's a ladder, and I was teeter-tottering it. The whole bees came out because was right over where the bees, whatever you want to call it, and I was stung by a whole bunch of bees when I was little. And you know what?
I was too.
But I have nothing against them. I know that how the deterioration of bees being around. I fight for their behalf, even though I have been stung tons and tons of times. I still fight for their behalf. They need to be here.
Yeah, they scare me, and I'll get the heebie-jeebies, especially if they're in my house or something, and I don't like when they buzz around me when I'm trying to eat and all of that. They freak me out, but yeah, I still want them to be protected and everything. I did get attacked like you we had a hive in a tree stump, and I knew it was there. And then my friends, I don't know, I might have been like 6 or 7, and my friends were throwing rocks at the stump. You know, stupid kids throwing rocks to tease the bees, and the bees came out and swarmed and stung me. I don't know how many, but it was a lot, and it was very painful. No, and I would not give that. Rabbits have a really delicate digestive system, and corn is hard for humans to digest.
Absolutely.
If you've noticed when you go to the bathroom after you've eaten corn, that it's not easily digestible even for humans. I would not give rabbits corn at all. They have a more delicate digestive system than we have, and they can basically, what a vet told me once about a guinea pig, which is going to be similar to a rabbit, they live and die by their gut. You got to be very, because they can't vomit, so anything they eat is in there and stays in there, and it'll cause discomfort, or whatever. They can get blockages, they can have gassy stomachs, which is painful, anything like that. But there's a lot of foods that they cannot eat, and I would avoid corn altogether, just because it's not easily digestible for humans, let alone rabbits. Yes, the greener the veggies, the better. They love romaine lettuce. They love even green peppers. They're a good source of any peppers. Bell peppers are a good source of vitamin C. They can't generate their own vitamin C, so any foods rich in vitamin C are good for them. So peppers, romaine lettuce. Avoid iceberg lettuce. That's just gonna give them gas. They can eat herbs like cilantro, basil, parsley, catnip. They can eat. Definitely Timothy hay has to be their #1 staple of food. They can eat bok choy, radicchio. Everything I'm listing is something that they've eaten, that mine have eaten. They can eat fruits, but as a treat, because fruits are high in sugar, and they can get runny stool. Carrots are actually high in sugar for them as well, so that needs to be treated like fruit and not something that they have all the time. And no grains for rabbits. They're no meat, no grains. Hey, E-Waste, how are you? Good to see you. Anything else? Oh, and rabbits can live 8 to 10 years, just in case anybody, you know, a lot of people will get rabbits as pets thinking that they're going to be more like a hamster and live only 2 to 3 years. It's like a commitment, like having a dog. They're 8 to 10 years, and so are guinea pigs.
Mike is still curious about the bee thing. He doesn't think me and you know what a beehive is, I guess. And he wants to make sure it was a bee, not yellow jacket.
When I was a kid, I have no idea. I have no idea. They could have been wasps. They could have been a certain kind of bee. Like, I know it was a certain kind of bee. I just don't know what it was because I didn't study them when I was being stung. Whatever would have their hive in a tree stump, because a lot of hives are going to be up high under eaves or, you know, something like that too. Depending on where they build their nests is going to determine more what kind of bee they are.
Well, I'm going to put it this way. Back when I was a little younger, like not in kindergarten, so that's a long time ago, actually yellow jackets really didn't exist. When I got stung, they were bees. They intermingled and everything else, and you have yellow jackets now. But back then, they didn't have yellow jackets when I was little. No way. Yellow jackets, I never even heard of that name until way years later.
Yeah, and there are different, I mean, there are bees that can only sting once, so they're very selective about when they sting. They have to feel really threatened in order to sting you.
And you know what? There are so many varieties of them. There's the polar bee does not even sting. People get the wrong impression. Not all bees will sting you.
Right. There are some that don't sting, but they bite. There are some that don't bite or sting. It depends. There's, yeah, like you said, a lot of different varieties. But yeah. Oh, the big fat fuzzy bees, the bumblebees, they definitely weren't that stung me. Definitely were not those.
No, I don't think bumblebees actually sting. It's the worker bees that are doing the honey part that might have a chance. Sand Creek Aquatics, welcome.
Hey, Sand Creek. But yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else that I might have left out, or if you could think of anything that I left out, you can ask. It's a lot of information because I have so many animals.
I was just reading this right here. I grabbed about a bumblebee. Generally, bumblebees are peaceful insects, will only sting when they feel cornered or when their hive is disturbed. When a bumblebee stings or whatever, it injects a venom into its victim. Only female bumblebees, queen workers, have a stinger. Male bumblebees do not. So there you go. So those women will get you all the time.
And it's like when they're very selective or careful about when they sting. It reminds me of skunks too. Yeah, skunks don't sting, but they have their spray. You know, when they'll spray you when they feel threatened, but they're very selective about when they spray because they actually have to regenerate that sac of fluid that they spray. It doesn't just immediately prepare for they can't spray over and over and over again. It'll actually take them several hours to regenerate all of that before they can spray again. So if you're just a mild threat, they're going to leave you alone because 5 minutes later, there could be a really more dangerous threat and they would be defenseless because they've already wasted their spray on you. So they're more of a very selective about how they spray.
Oh my God! Don't even start with skunks. Yeah, Lacey got so. Do you not remember me doing that story? And it took 8 months, 6 months. She still has a bit on her snout. I mean, her nose must have been up the skunk's butt because it was horrible in my whole house for over 6 months. Ohio River Bobby. Hello, Bobby. Welcome. Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, so I don't know the exact numbers. Just me is putting up some numbers there on how many times they can spray and how long it takes to generate it back before they can spray again. So yeah, they're going to be selective about. They don't just go spraying everything willy-nilly.
No, they're just, again, the defensive mechanism is why they're spraying, because somebody's bugging them. Creek Aquatics said, would love to see your place. Are you talking about for Passion? Because go rewatch this. She showed us all her house.
Yeah, I've been through all the animals. I actually have to wind this up because it is my birthday. My husband's waiting to spend time with me on my birthday.
Yes, well, we're getting out of here then. One more time, anybody got any questions before we ask the lovely Passion to leave and spend some time with their birthday? I left it up to you. I knew it was going on 2 hours. So you guys got any more questions for this lovely lady? It's okay. Anybody wants to see what she showed you, I'll be leaving up the live stream. You can go watch the whole thing. She has all the thing all up there. She went over everything. And I'll tell you what, you can meet her on her own channel to promote her. And you can also come back here because when she wants to come back, she's welcome to come back. But she knows what I want. I want a head talk.
And Bruce, that is basically a myth. Tomato juice does not work for skunk spray.
No, it doesn't. Look, I'm going to tell you, nothing works. There is not. We bought stuff over the counter. We did tomato juice. We did everything people gave us suggestions to do, and the dog smelled. You want to know what got rid of it? Time. 6 months later, then it was gone. And it's still not gone.
I got the smell out of a dog when I was dog grooming that had been sprayed. I got the smell out with Listerine and vinegar.
Well, we tried that. Not Listerine. We tried vinegar. Remember, I kept saying the dog still smells. I couldn't even go near her poor face. She was making me vomit. So I know what it's like firsthand about skunks, and I'm not going to tell you it's easy to get rid of because it's not. There's the
nice thing about the Listerine is even if there is a bit of a skunk smell still in there, all you're smelling is the Listerine. They're minty fresh when they get a bath with Listerine.
I don't know. I don't want to prove you right or wrong. I don't want it happening again. I don't know. But seriously, whoever your dog gets stung by a skunk, good luck. That's all I'm going to tell you. And there's so many things people are telling you that it's going to get rid of it, and they're lying because it doesn't work. Anyways, I am going to say goodbye to the lovely. We're going to escape off together. I want to thank Passion for Pets for this 2-hour wonderful, fantastic live stream and all the questions answered. I hope you had a good time as much as we loved having you, Passion.
Yep, it was fun.
Okay, they're all saying, happy birthday. Yes.
Thank you.
There you go. Happy birthday. And we're getting off there, ladies and gentlemen. Matter of fact, you can type in there and I'm going to be playing her song while I take her off. This is Passion's song. And there it is.
Bye, guys.